Entitlement born of being spoiled seemed to ooze from her every pore. Seeing me enter, she showed no panic whatsoever. Instead, she leisurely blew a smoke ring and looked at me with provocation. "Oops, well, this is awkward," she giggled, her voice sickeningly sweet. "Eric said no one usually lives here and let me come stay to rest for the baby. Are you that housekeeper? Or that ex-wife who can't lay eggs?" My blood almost froze at that moment, not just because of her intrusion, but even more so because Eric actually gave this place, my only private territory, the resting place of my parents' memories, to this woman. "Get out," I said coldly, walking towards her step by step. "Don't be so fierce, Auntie." Haley stood up, deliberately sticking out that not yet obvious belly. "Careful not to scare me and Eric's baby. This is the future heir of the Vance family, worth way more than this shabby house of yours." As she spoke, she casually picked up that blue and white porcelain vase from the cabinet next to her, toying with it like a cheap plaything. "This vase is so tacky, just like you, completely boring. Put it down." My voice lost control for the first time. That was the last keepsake my parents left me, the only emotional tie to family I had in this world. "Oh, are you ordering me?" A malicious glint flashed in Haley's eyes, and she let go. Crash! The crisp, shattering sound echoed through the empty villa like thunder. Blue and white porcelain shards exploded outward like a tragically beautiful snowfall. In that instant, the string in my mind called reason snapped. I rushed up and grabbed her wrist. I didn't mean to hurt her, I just wanted her to get away from those shards, away from my parents' territory. "Ah, she's hitting me! Help! This crazy woman is killing me!" Haley fell backward with the momentum, her acting so exaggerated it was like she was in a third-rate soap opera. She didn't hit the ground, but collapsed onto the thick carpet. Yet the scream she let out sounded as if she had broken a leg. Just then, the main door was violently pushed open. Eric rushed in. Clearly he had followed close behind Haley, or perhaps he was here for a tryst with her. Seeing this scene, he barely thought at all, not even sparing a glance for the porcelain shards scattered on the floor or my pale face, as he charged straight over and shoved me away violently. "Elena, are you crazy?" he roared, a ferocious expression on his face that I had never seen before. "She's pregnant, and you actually pushed her? Has your jealousy turned you into a devil?" I stumbled back a few steps from his shove, and my palm pressed down onto the porcelain shards on the floor. A sharp, piercing pain shot through me. Blood instantly gushed out, staining red that piece of broken porcelain painted with a landscape, and staining my vision red as well. I looked at my hand. My palm was sliced open with a gash deep enough to see the bone, a bloody mess. But what hurt more was my heart. Eric was carefully helping Haley up, asking nervously if she was okay, without even sparing me a glance out of the corner of his eye. Haley nestled in his arms, pointing at me and crying, "Honey, she wanted to kill me. She must be jealous that I'm having a baby." It's okay, baby." Eric coaxed her softly, but when he turned to look at me, his eyes were as cold as if looking at an enemy. "Elena, if anything happens to my child, I will never forgive you. Get out. Get the hell out of here right now." I clutched my bleeding hand, standing frozen in place, looking at this man I had loved for 7 years, the man I had once almost lost my life to save. It turns out that the moment a heart dies, there is no sound, no heart-wrenching screams, no hysteria, only a dead silence like dust settling. "Fine." I heard my own voice, so calm it seemed as if it wasn't coming from this bleeding body. "I'll get out." I turned around without looking back at that disgusting couple, nor glancing at the shards on the ground, because I knew, whether it was that porcelain vase or my marriage with Eric, they were both thoroughly shattered, beyond any possibility of repair. I walked out of the villa and got into the car. Blood from my hand dripped onto the leather seat, blooming into bewitching flowers. I didn't go to the hospital, but instead took a first aid kit from the glove compartment, skillfully stopping the bleeding and bandaging myself with one hand. As a biologist, treating wounds is a basic skill. After bandaging up, I started the car. But I didn't go back to New York. Instead, I drove towards the nearest private clinic. Because right after that intense emotional turmoil just now, I felt a trace of strange, heavy pain in my abdomen. It was a woman's intuition, and also the most ironic joke fate could play at the most desperate moment. 2 hours later, I walked out of the clinic holding the test results. HCG positive. 7 years of infertility, sentenced to death by countless famous doctors. On the day I decided to leave him, I got pregnant. Looking at the report, I suddenly laughed out loud, laughed until tears streamed down my face. Eric, that so-called heir you treasure like a gem, is most likely a bastard, and the one you just pushed away with your own hands is your true flesh and blood. I took out my phone and snapped a photo of my bleeding palm but didn't send it. I deleted all of Eric's contact info, then dialed my lawyer. Change of plans. I looked at myself in the rearview mirror, pale-faced but with eyes as vicious as a wolf. Add that forged abortion record to the list of gifts for Eric. Also, I want Haley's ex-boyfriend's contact info right now. In this moment, that Elena who humbled herself into the dust for love died. Returning alive is the goddess of vengeance who is about to turn this world upside down, Serena. For the next 3 days, like a perfect ghost, I roamed the edges of Eric's life. I didn't go back to the villa in the Hamptons, nor did I return to the apartment on the Upper East Side. I was living in a short-term rental in Chelsea, a place where artists and geeks gather, full of the air of chaos and freedom, and a blind spot that elites like Eric, who only know how to shuttle between Wall Street and Fifth Avenue, would never set foot in. I watched the live surveillance feed sent by the private detective on my phone. Eric had taken Haley to our private estate in Long Island, the place he'd promised we'd retire to. But I didn't feel angry, just found it laughable. He was like a nesting peacock, impatiently showing off his feathers to his new fling, unaware that those feathers were already infested with lice. The lawyer was highly efficient and quickly brought Haley's ex-boyfriend, a surf instructor named Jack, before me. Jack was a typical California boy, blonde hair, blue eyes, all brawn and no brains. When he saw the check I wrote, his eyes nearly popped out. $50,000, just give me those recordings and chat logs. I slid the check in front of him, my tone indifferent. Whoa, that chick actually hooked a big fish like Vance? Jack whistled and handed me the phone without hesitation. Take it. That kid isn't mine anyway. She was messing around with several old men while she was with me. Only those self-righteous rich guys would treat a woman like her as a treasure. I quickly scanned through those explicit chat logs, as well as the voice messages where Haley bragged to her bestie about how she schemed to seduce Eric, and how she used someone else's sperm for IVF to pass it off as Vance seed. Whether this kid belongs to Jack, Tom, or that old man, as long as I don't say anything, it's Eric's. That fool, I just have to cry a little and he believes it. In the recording, Haley's voice was